Hello and welcome. In this video, I'd like to discuss the various components that make up a great listing presentation. Over the last few years, the easy breezy market made such things a bit less important. However, now that things have normalized a bit, it's time to hone those skills that improve your individual competitiveness. Honestly speaking, it's time to get back to basics. I don't physically engage in real estate sales anymore because I shifted my focus to a leadership role in managing Benchmark several years ago, choosing to work on the business instead of in the business. Yet I continue to maintain a current brokerage license and still have a list of designations probably about as long as my arm. Over the years, I was actively selling. I personally represented individual buyers and sellers in somewhere north of 700 transactions. So I very well understand how this process works because I have been in the trenches for many years, just like you. In my own experience, having done hundreds of listing presentations, I found that using a customizable PowerPoint on an iPad or laptop worked best. I've seen it work for others with hard copy printouts, if that's more your style. For me, it worked best with some basic slides that talked about me and the duties I performed for the client during the process. Then I had a few slides that were customized to that specific seller or property. So what are the elements of a great listing presentation? Well, let's take a look. It all begins with research. Before you even go meet that client, you need to do your homework. I cannot stress this enough. You must spend whatever time it takes to research to the point that you have superior knowledge about the property, the local market, the neighborhood, and your competition. You must be able to prove that you are the expert and can speak confidently about the value of the property, as well as being able to speak authoritatively about how it compares to other properties in the area. Completing that research allows you an understanding of who and what you're up against when you finally go meet that client. The presentation itself begins with pointing out the key elements of getting a house sold. I'm talking about outlining the functional steps of the process so the client fully understands what you intend to do to earn that commission. These couple of slides were aimed at two areas. Number one, showing the client the many steps ahead of me in order to reach success. And then number two, showing them what a tall hill must be climbed to actually get to the finish line. As a side note, if this part is done right, it should discourage them fully from trying to do it as a FISBO instead of hiring me. The next few slides would deal with comparing and contrasting my selling systems versus the competition's, and I'm talking about showing them the strategic overview here. What do you do differently than other agents to achieve success? If your answer right now is nothing, then you need to get on the ball and figure that out. And here's the bottom line. If you cannot articulate your distinction and your talents and your processes, you're just a me too. Why should a client trust you to be anything different than the next person? Your distinct value proposition is why you deserve this listing. So you haven't figured that out yet? It's time for you to put some thinking time into it. Following that section, I would show them my specific systems and how they work. What are the specific tools you intend to deploy to make this process as quick and painless as possible for them? And here's what I'm talking about: the neighborhood websites you have, the flyers you're going to use, the landing pages, the social media ads, all the direct marketing efforts you will deploy for their benefit. It's important to clarify the why for each of them. And this is key now. Never forget the why in any explanation. Look, everyone has that radio station playing in their head. It's called WIFM. What's in it for me? You can have all the fancy tips and tricks in the world, but if you fail to lead them to an understanding of what it does for them, it's just hot air. Remember, many sellers only rarely engage in this process, so you must simplify and articulate the full value of everything you are offering to them. The next few slides after that are where the research comes into play. You want to present the information you've collected in an easy to understand graphical format. Graphs, charts. If you don't know how to do that, ask a teenager. You'll want to present graphs illustrating such things as how is the market right now? What is the seasonality impact? Who are the competing properties? And what are the distinct differences with their property? Sales prices, number of units sold, and inventory are key information to hone in on. It makes you look smart and nudges them toward the decision point on selling now and selling with you. The final section of your presentation is about your record of success compared to the local average agent. Here you want to show your list price to sales price ratio, your days on market average, and your success ratio average, which is the percentage likelihood that you will sell the home during the initial listing period. So even if you only have ever sold a single listing, you can mathematically come up with those ratios on your performance. Then, of course, if you've been selling real estate for a while, you'll want to impress them with your total number of transactions and the total value of all those transactions. It's about building up your credibility in their eyes. You also want to throw in a slide to show how you have regular programs going all the time to cultivate buyers for your listings. What you're doing to grow and maintain a ready pool of buyers all the time. This is another area where you showcase your general marketing acuity. Lastly, tie it all together with a concise summary, emphasizing how all this benefits them. In my case, I even offered a written cancellation guarantee. That may sound a bit risky, but if you're doing your job well, it will rarely be activated. Remember, your last words are to close them. Never make a presentation and then sit back and say, well, what do you think? Instead, say, I have the paperwork right here and just a couple of signatures. We can get started immediately. Follow these guidelines and you'll find that you'll win 99% of your listing presentations just like I did. I hope you found this information helpful. If so, hit the like button below and be sure to subscribe to the Benchmark YouTube channel for more great information. Thanks.